Hey there, and welcome. So you're new to Canada, and you've probably noticed that choosing your first bank account is, well, kind of overwhelming, right? All the big banks look the same, they all seem to promise the same stuff, so how do you know what actually matters? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and figure it out together.
Yeah, that's the big question we're tackling today. Which bank is really the best for you as a newcomer? We're going to put the top packages from RBC, Scotiabank, and TD head-to-head. The goal here is to give you the clarity you need to make a really solid choice.
But look, to avoid getting lost in all the marketing fluff and the fine print, we're going to zero in on just two things. Seriously, only two. These are the two factors that truly matter when you're first getting your financial feet on the ground here.
Okay, so what are they? First, how long can you bank for free without paying a monthly fee? And second, how easy is it to get a starter credit card so you can start building that all-important Canadian credit history? Because, let's be real, getting a checking account is the easy part. The real challenge is building credit, and you need good credit for, well, pretty much everything. We're talking renting an apartment, getting a phone plan, you name it.
Okay, before we dive in, just a quick but super important heads up. This is all for educational info, it's not personal financial advice. And remember, bank offers can and do change, so you've always got to double-check the latest details directly with the bank before you sign anything. Cool?
All right, disclaimers done. Let's get to the main event, comparing the top offers from three of Canada's biggest banks.
First up, let's talk about RBC, or the Royal Bank of Canada. Their newcomer bundle is pretty clean and straightforward, which is a great place to start.
So, RBC's offer really boils down to this. You get 1 full year of banking with no monthly account fee. That's huge. Plus, you could potentially get a credit card with the limit of up to $15,000, even if you have zero Canadian credit history. That's the core package. But, and this is a big but, let's be real about that number. The magic words are up to $15,000. This does not mean everyone gets a $15K limit right off the bat. A lot of newcomers start with a much lower limit. The key is to see it as a starting point that you can build up over time by using it responsibly.
Okay, next on the list, Scotiabank. You've probably seen ads for their StartRight program. It's very heavily marketed directly at newcomers. So let's see how their offer stacks up.
And will you look at that? Just like RBC, Scotiabank is offering no monthly account fees for your first year. And they also offer an unsecured credit card with a limit of, you guessed it, up to $15,000 based on approval. Now, that word unsecured is actually pretty important. So what does unsecured even mean? It's simple, really. It just means you don't have to put down a cash deposit to get the credit card. Think about it. When you're new to a country and trying to manage all your settlement costs, not having to lock up your cash is a really, really big deal.
And rounding out our big three, let's take a look at TD Bank. No surprise here, they also have a very clear package designed specifically for folks who are new to Canada. And TD's Newcomer Package, I mean, you can probably guess what's coming, includes a full year with no monthly account fees. And they also say that newcomers could be eligible for a credit limit of, wait for it, up to $15,000, even with no credit history. Are you starting to see a pattern here?
Okay, this right here brings us to the most important takeaway of this whole explainer. The real insight isn't about the big numbers on the posters. It's about figuring out your own personal tiebreakers.
And this little cheat sheet, it says it all. When you look at the two things that matter most right at the start, the fee-free period and the credit limit, these banks are, for all intents and purposes, identical. 1 year, no fees. Up to 15 grand in credit, the end.
So that leads to the obvious question, right? If the main offers are pretty much the same, how in the world are you supposed to actually pick one?
This is where you come in. You need to use your own personal tiebreakers. And here are 4 big ones. First, branch access. Simple as that. Is there a branch that's actually convenient for you, near your home or work? Because you'll probably need to go in person at the beginning. Second, the experience you have opening the account. Go in and talk to them. Some branches are just way more helpful and efficient. Third, your specific status. Whether you're a PR, on a work permit, or a student can sometimes make the process smoother at one bank versus another. And fourth, your plan. It all starts with that first card, using it for small things and paying that bill on time every single time.
So, you see, choosing your first bank account isn't about finding some secret magical offer. It's really just about getting your foot in the door and setting up a solid, fee-free foundation to start.
Because honestly, that first account is just the beginning. The real juicy differences between these banks, they only start to show up after these welcome packages are over, when you start to look a little closer at the details.
And guess what? That is exactly what we're going to tackle in our next explainer. We're going to break down things like those newcomer cash bonuses. How do they actually work? What are the best ways to send money internationally? We'll also get into the nitty-gritty eligibility rules, depending on if you're PR, on a work permit, or a student. And we'll look at which starter credit cards are actually the best for building that credit score. So, the big takeaway today is this. For your first account, you honestly can't really go wrong with RBC, Scotiabank, or TD. Just use those personal tiebreakers to pick the one that feels like the best fit for you. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2 of our Newcomer Banking series, because that's when we're going to get into the details that really make a difference in the long run. Thanks for joining me.